how? I think it's okay. No,
Yeah, it's good. It's
I think
good.
you, if you can come in a little in the middle, that would be nice. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Okay.
Well,
So a
going
lot of
live right now.
technical problems today,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and we're back here, and we're gonna just do it now, even if the quality is maybe not the best, because it's more important to do a thing than to do it 100% all the
Yeah.
way.
You
As always,
started the recording?
I'm gonna just very quickly check. It seems to be better now. Yeah,
Yeah,
seems to be better.
it
The
is.
quality seems to be better.
It's
Okay.
better.
So, you never know with the live stream software. It's a little tricky with video and audio and everything. So, hopefully, things are going to be good now. So, let me just close everything here.
Quite a exercise.
Yeah. So, um, what? Yeah. So let's put up the topic for today.
The kids
Uh,
aren't all right, Rafid.
yeah.
And yeah.
And then we'll let people just see that for a couple of minutes so that they can make a decision about if they want to,
Yeah.
listen today or not. Topic for today: the kids. The kids aren't all right. That's a very. It's a famous song, you can say. Maybe not for the young people now, but there's a band called The
Yeah.
Offspring. Do you know about it?
I mean, when I searched about it, the first thing that came was that
Yeah.
only.
So it's I gave it the name, from the song that they have, one of the
I think
popular songs.
the topic is still not written correctly. It's written how to get through tough times.
Oh, is
It's
it? Well, I'm seeing
yeah.
the kids are or aren't all right. I'll put it up again. What about now?
No, now it's good. Now it's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So the topic for today, if you're listening, sorry about the technical issues. We were supposed to start an hour ago, but technology. Um, the topic for today is the kids aren't all right, which means that there's a lot of things happening in the world, and the rate at which things have been happening in the world has sped up and is speeding up even more. And that everything that a company does at the higher level, when a decision is made to make one of the most popular applications that billions of people use, basically, it has trickle down effects to all of us. And a 10-year-old brain is very different from a 50-year-old brain. All brains are malleable and can change over time, but a 10-year-old brain is being formed for the first time. And it can be, we can lose sight of what's happening to the kids that are growing up with it when so many things are happening at the same time. Streaming is now a thing. I mean, just HD 4K video streaming to you instantaneously with almost no buffering. I mean, that's funny because we had problems with our video now, but that's a reality. And then we have video games that are just as addictive as can be.
I mean, Rafat, you are quite older than me. So
Yeah.
when you were one, you were given phones.
When I was born, there was no giving of phones. No, there was a phone that was stuck at a certain place in the house, and everyone used that phone.
But nowadays,
Mm.
like the kids are being born and they are given iPads right away, and they are
Yeah.
just scrolling the reels like that. So, I
Mm.
mean, the amount of exposure to technology to kids nowadays are much better, and
Yeah.
I think nowadays they are quite smarter in terms of technology with respect to the people. The what do we say? The older people, they are, I think, Gen X or what?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah. So millennials are also starting to get into that bracket, but Gen Xers would be, 50s, early 60s now. Boomers are even older than that. That's my parents' generation. Your parents are probably Gen Xers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gen X. boomers, and then millennials are the ones that were born in 1980 and up to like 97 maybe. So you're
They're the
part of Gen
boomers.
Z and I'm part of the millennial generation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean our generation are having kids, have been having kids for 10 years now. So a lot of the kids that are young now are I don't have any kids personally, but if I were to have kids, they would be in that age bracket.
I mean, when you'll have kids, I mean, just say that if like let's create a situation if you are having some kids, will you
Mm.
give them the phone and exposure to technology right away in their initial 5 years, or you'll just
No,
wait and not expose them?
I will personally not do that. No, because I know what
You'll
happens
not
to the
even
grown.
let them know about the phone, or you'll not be scared of like constant uh, like shouting from them. You'll have to then deal that if you're not giving them phones right
Mm.
away. Because if you're giving them a distraction, then you're free. You can do your things. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how
we
do you
should.
think parents should approach this? Like
Yeah.
those people that are now having
Mm.
babies,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's really get frustrating when the kid is constantly
Yeah.
poking you on,
Mm.
and you are not able to do your stuff.
Yeah.
So you
L-
just give them the phone with the video playing of some like
Yeah.
story or something, and then they can just watch that, and you
Yeah.
are free and you can do your thing.
So it has to be said in the beginning that I don't have kids, and so anything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. But I am the eldest brother of five siblings, so I was, I've been around babies and kids, and I also have people in my family that have kids, and so, but I don't have them yet. But before I answer what you asked, let's go a little bit back to get some perspective. So let's go back to when I was born and during the 90s and 2000s when I grew up. And let's set the standard for how things were back then so that we can compare how it's different now. So when I was a kid, phones, we know about phones, but we didn't really have access to phones. It was mostly the parents that had access to it. When you grew older, if you had some friends to call or something like that, you could use the phone, but there was just one phone. And it was also the time where if I was using the phone and there was another phone, if you picked up that phone, you could listen into that conversation happening on the main phone. So you didn't even like with kids, you wouldn't always get the privacy because your parents would be listening to what you're talking to. If you're like 12 years old and you got a girlfriend or something, your mother would be very interested in that discussion. So it was very different. Not everyone had a device, with them. The internet wasn't really a thing yet. It had, I mean, internet web was coming up, but people didn't really have access to it. Even computers were not really a thing. So what did people do in their lives back then? What do you think they would do back then? You weren't even born, Div. What do you think?
I
What
mean,
did people do for fun or just not being bored?
there in India there are people, like different board games like Ludo, Snake and Ladder, and these types of games. So maybe like kids used to play that, and of course there might be hide and seek, uh, police, like thief and police. There is these types of games that I used to play because when I was born, I was not given that much of exposure to phones. I was like given those buttons phones. They were these were not smartphones. There were some buttons, and we used to play different games on that
Mm,
particular phone. So I mean, we how we used to spend time because we didn't have phones. We used to like play different physical games with siblings and cousins that used to come to our home.
yeah,
That's how we used to spend the time back then.
exactly. So now I want to outline a major difference between kids growing up now and kids growing up when I was a kid. The big difference was that today, when kids are bored, they are usually given access to a device where they can play a game. That's what most kids are doing, or watching a video. And can you mute yourself, Dave? There's a lot of background noise. There's someone shouting,
Sure,
I think.
sure.
No worries. So I'll say that again for the real or whatever we're going to extract out of this. So the main difference between kids growing up during my time in the 90s, 2000s, and now is that back then we had to come up with our own games. There were some games that you could play like Ludo and things like that, or chess or whatever, and people did that. But the imagination is where you went to for ideas that you would just come up with. Hey, let's just pretend that I'm a bank robber and I'm trying to get away, and you're the police and you're gonna catch me. Let's just do that. Yeah, but that's not an actual. Yeah, I don't, we just made it up. It's okay. Versus now, you go to YouTube and watch a specific video that someone else made, or you watch a game that someone else made for you. That still happened back then, but all that's happening today is that you're going to other people's imaginations and they made this already for you. You just sit and watch it. So the engagement level is completely different when you are creating the game with your friends or siblings or whatever on the spot, versus just sitting back in a passive mode and watching something that someone else made. And I think that's a very, very key difference that you take away from kids when you just tell them, hey, use this thing that has an infinite amount of content out there, all made by other people. You go into this, I can just watch this. And we did that. We had TVs and stuff like that. But TV was being watched not that much, maybe 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day max. It was the same thing going over and over again. You couldn't choose what you wanted. So a lot of the time you were just by yourself and like, I'm going to draw a comic book or something like that, or I'm going to just do whatever. You were so bored that you had to constantly entertain yourself, you know? And today, I think, because the parents can't be with the kids themselves because they feel like they have to be entertaining the kids all the time, which is not what you're supposed to do as a parent. The kids are supposed to be left alone, not when they're maybe 1 years old, but after a certain time. They're supposed to be left alone in the world in a safe environment, obviously, and they're supposed to entertain themselves. But now there's this, no, I need to give them something. There you go. So device, and now you can watch whatever. I think that's very, very detrimental. And to answer your question, from earlier, I would not be doing that myself to my kids if I ever have them. So yeah, I would create the way that I would raise my kids if I had them, or when I have them, let's say, is that I would create an environment in the home and outside as well, and again in safe places, where the kids have a playground where they can explore the world in a safe way, not with devices. They get the devices as well, but only for a certain amount of time, or maybe only on a big screen where it's a social experience with other people as well, with their parents or with their friends. So I would restrict that quite a lot, because I know that the brains development under these devices are incredibly bad. And we're going to get to this later when we see what's happening in the world, and especially in schools, and how teachers are, struggling with this kind of stuff. Yes. So,
I,
how
I
was it for
mean,
you growing up, Div? You grew
I
up like
mean,
for 10, 14 years later than I did.
I think so. I was born in 2004, so
Mm,
like my when I was born, I mean, that time I didn't had that much access to internet. It was just coming long,
mm,
and people that were like quite like kind of living a luxurious life, like in the like United States or out of India, they might have more access to internet that time. So it was like quite, we were not that much exposed to internet, but of course my curiosity was quite good. So I was, whenever I
mm,
used to find some computer or something like that, I used to like go into it and surf the web whenever I can. But mostly it was not that much exposed to internet when I was 5 to 6 years old. When I was around 10 to 12 years old, I think that's when we were exposed to internet, and much of thing that happened in the later 2010s, I think. Not
mm,
in not when I was born. So how we used to spend time, we used to like play different games. Like there were a lot of outdoor games that we used to play with different like kids of our relatives or things like that.
mm,
And like when you were telling about this like whole thing about, like when I asked you the question about kids back then, like of our generation, they used to like not have that much exposure to the internet, and they used to play outside and actually meet people in person. Nowadays it's like all online. The people are playing Roblox games, and they
mm,
have their digital names in which they are making friends as well. So there is this poem that I actually studied in my class seventh or something. That was Television by Roald Dahl. So what it said was the same thing that we are saying about internet. So whenever this television came, the most important thing, it's all about television. That uh, it's the poem name itself is Television, by Roald Dahl. It said that the most important thing that we have learned so far as children are concerned is never let them near your television set, because like that's the idiotic thing to do that time, because then they'll not kick you and shout at you, and they'll just be exposed to that screen. So that was already an issue pointed by someone. Now it's like worse, because people nowadays like are not using television that much. They're using their smartphones, because now televisions are converted, are like all the technology that you people used to see, go to television channel and watch different episodes. Now you can just see it on your phone, and that's portable device, right? So I mean that has been transitioned to something that you can keep in your pocket all the time. So that distraction is something I think that shouldn't be exposed to kid early on, because then they get I think they will loss in touch with other fellow kids at their age. But I think it's now normalized, because every other kid is a part of this, and if you're not a part of Roblox, then the kid will face some serious issues, because then
Mm.
how you'll connect with the other kid. What do
Yeah.
you think about that? Like, let's say if you are not letting your kid with these phones, but how, like, what do we what will the kid talk about with his friends, because his friends are already on these platforms, and then they will make fun of that kid
Yeah.
because he's not on that platform. So how
Mm.
will you cope with that as a parent?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. So basically, you have to give a device to your kid because all the other kids have devices. And if they don't have that, or if they're not on the latest games, then they will feel left out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will feel left out. Yeah.
No,
And it's
I
going to
think
be
you were
sad for
mentioning
them.
just few minutes you were mentioning you'll not give your kids this thing. So I mean that's just contrary to what you're saying. So how we should plan, because we can't just say that we'll not expose them with these devices, because
Mm,
they have to get exposed with it. But there should be a boundary or something like that. That's what I feel,
yeah.
because you can't just like let them not get exposed to this thing, and then their curiosity will be more, because why you are not getting allowed to
Yeah.
use these things. And then people will make fun of the kid, and he
Yeah.
will get insulted, and things like that will
Yeah.
it's just stacks on top of each other.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's just make my position clear on this is that just because they will feel left out or be made fun of for not doing a stupid thing, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good experience. To feel left out and still doing the thing because you believe in it or your parents are saying that, they will not like it and they will want me to just give them what they want, but I'll still not do it. And they'll have to just deal with that because that's part of growing up. Part of growing up is not always getting what you want. In fact, that's the lesson that I would want to teach them because all the other kids are getting what they want whenever they want immediately because that's what the modern world wants to give you because that's how companies make money is you want this movie from the 1970s right now in age, there you go, there you go. You don't have to work for it. Back in my day, oh, I have to figure out where that movie is in this city. Is it even there? Or there's over there. I can get it. Maybe their library, something, 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 something. There was a whole path to that, you know? I'm not saying that you create a world that is completely, uh, you know, different from the actual world. I'm not a proponent of that. We have to live in this world, obviously. But I am a proponent of making your own kids' life difficult intentionally when it comes to these things. and tell them, yeah, people are going to make fun of you.
Which age group are you talking about?
I'm
Just
talking
for reference.
about, 9-year-old, 10-year-olds, 12, 13. Probably at that point you're starting to introduce it in some way. But
Yeah,
yeah, not before 10, not before
like
11 or
you,
12.
you're just talking about mobile phones or laptop as
I'm
well,
talking
or
about
computer.
I'm talking about anything that allows them to just take a device and be like this for more than 15 minutes, 20 minutes at a time. If they're watching a movie, that's different. If they're watching a movie with their parents or friends, that's different. That's a social event.
What if they are building something or coding something out? Is it good
Yeah,
at
of
that
course.
age?
Yeah, you just block the internet at your home. On by default at the internet, you go no
You'll
internet in
not
our home.
let them use AI while coding.
No, well, no, they can still use AI, but you can still make it offline. It doesn't have to be ChatGPT. It can be local. Basically, this thing of having instant access to anything in the world is a bad thing for a brain that's not available, that's not ready for it. It's even a bad thing for me and you. We are still doing things that are so horrible for our brains, but we're at least adults. The kids don't have any framework for how to deal with it. You have to teach it slowly to them. But when the kids are given these things that are these magical devices that can do anything, it's not a good thing. And let me just tell you that Steve Jobs himself, right when the iPad came out, in an article, you can look this up, said, I do not allow my kids to use iPads. It's banned in my home. He said that.
Oh,
At the same
wow.
time, millions of classrooms around the world, iPads is being introduced. The best way to learn is giving that, which is a complete flop. The iPad in schools is a completely failed experiment and should be completely deleted because there's no data to support that it's been anything but horrible. We have crack cocaine everywhere in the world and available for kids to use for the brains, basically. And we're saying, hey, don't use it. It's there, but don't go anywhere near it or use it. I know all your friends are using it and addicted to it, but you don't use it because it's not good for you.
Then you'll become a bad dad because my dad isn't allowing these
Yeah,
things.
I don't care about that one bit. I'm completely fine being the bad person because I've been that all my life in many ways. So I don't care about that. People can tell me whatever, and yeah, so not a problem for me. Yeah, but to go a little bit deeper into like what is actually happening to the brain, I'm not a scientist or anything like that. So, but I am going to be talking about it in more of an overview way. When you get a really engaging video that you see, the brain goes, whoa, this is really cool. Oh my, wow, 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 wow. Right. And that's okay if you're doing that to your brain maybe once or twice a day in a really highly engaging way. But if that's all you're doing like this, so what I was able to do when I was a kid was to just sit somewhere and entertain myself for up to 5-6 hours a day. I wouldn't go to my mother and say, hey, I'm bored, tell me what to do. I would just know that yeah, it's kind of boring. So you just start drawing something and you come up with a story and you start drawing that. You go
Yeah,
and you pick up a book, you go to the outside to the library and get something. You do this exploration. You try to explore the world on your own. You go to the playground and things like that. But today it's completely different. Kids are not
yeah.
allowed to go even outside because, oh my God, what if someone kidnapped them? Which is the
Stranger
probability
danger.
of that probability of being kidnapped by someone was exactly the same when I was a kid versus what it is now. Maybe it's changed a little bit, but not in any meaningful way. But oh my gosh, we are been showing, people are getting these videos on their algorithms. Someone got kidnapped. Oh my God. Okay, so this now is overpowering the actual stat for it, which is maybe 0.0002%. And in the parents' mind, oh my God, I can never let my kid be by themselves because what if this happens? So this is what social media does to you. It takes the uh, outlier, right? Something that is not very common, and it shows it to you because that's the thing you're going to go, whoa. And then it makes your brain think that that's actually likely. And when you do that, when you Dev, share with me a reel of a 20-year-old very successful person on paper making 500 million, whatever, whatever, which what, we don't even know if it's true or not. It
Yeah,
makes you think that that's way more common than it actually is, right?
yeah,
Obviously. And the same
obviously.
thing with anything else. But the whole system is completely messed up. It's not just the kids, it's all of us. We have to live in this system that is completely messed up because of these tech people that for the last 20 years have been just like, how do I take control of more of the world so that I control what happens?
I mean, do you like using Facebook?
Huh?
I
If
mean,
I
do you
used
like
to,
you?
I
Do
only
you
use
like using
Facebook to
Facebook?
put out my own content. Honestly, I don't really do that much on it. And then I run some ads and stuff for my business. I don't like doing those things, but I have to do it because, like
Do
so
you
much of the
scroll
world is there.
Instagram? You watch reels?
Instagram, I do scroll, yes. Yeah.
And like, what do you think? Kids nowadays are also creating Instagram accounts and they are scrolling reels,
Yeah.
and what type of a content exposure they are getting, because I think there was a case, I think Facebook was sued because
Mm,
of this, because some girls got adult content that got into their feeds and
yeah.
they were exposed to that thing too early on. So what
Mm.
do you think on that? Like, well, how much is it? Should it be restricted to, like,
Well, okay,
no kids
so
should have their Instagram profiles?
let's just go there. The reality is that there is a lot of very adult content on the internet. We are all aware of this, and that is one of the scariest things for me for kids, because unless you have some sort of control, which is very easy to get, circumvent, they have access to the most horrible things that you can imagine just through a device, right? Um, and that is really scary because I didn't grow up with that. It was starting to happen when I was a kid, but the internet was so slow and it was so hard to get. It was not really as big of a problem as it is today. This is not just for kids, with adults, with men. This is a huge problem. But we're not talking about right now. We're
Yeah,
talking about kids. Now, what's also even more scary in all of this is that now AI is so good that you can take any of these videos and you can take a picture of anyone and you can merge those with a click of a button, and then there
I
you
mean,
go.
when
It
you were
looks,
talking about this,
I mean, videos have gotten so,
that's what came to my mind. Like,
yeah,
fake images of people. Let's
yeah,
say, your kid wanna take revenge of one of his bullies or one of
yeah,
his girlfriends.
mm,
They can just take their image and make it inappropriate and just send it in the group
yeah,
chat. And
yeah.
then like what she will see is like that an inappropriate image, and what will go into her brain. Like, I mean, that's really
There's
horrible to think.
not to get too deep, but like I think we have to go there because this is really dark stuff. Um, Go on YouTube and search for this kind of stuff. There have been documented cases of suicide of kids in schools that AI has been used to put people in certain situations. Everyone in the school knows about it, and now it's so good that you can't even, like, good, it's not good, but the quality has become so good that it's hard to distinguish between what's real and not what's not real, that everyone's sharing it, and now they think my life is over because everyone knows about this. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. And i think I think the conversation has to shift from we need to ban this stuff to how do we live in a world where this is so easy that anyone can do it with a click of a button. And because we now need to live in this world, we are already being living in this world for a while now. It's not even new, but it's just scary how good it's getting. And
I mean,
we need,
I do remember that when I was in school, and let's say if, like, there is a post or like message of like funny thing, making fun of someone and creating a post, something like that, and posting it into the group. I mean, I know that how will that kid feel, because of just that post getting sent in that WhatsApp group.
mm.
So I mean, it's really nowadays it's like more, you can like be creative with that post. So I mean, that's really terrible. And
Yeah.
There should be some like parents should already tell kids about it, or like, and let them be prepared of these things rather than someone else sending the post and then they are reacting to these posts on their own. So
Mm.
I mean that's really a big issue
I mean,
nowadays.
our reputation in society is based on, a lot of it is based on truth. Like, did you do that or did you not do that? And now there is no way to distinguish uh, if something is real or not. And so our entire basis of reality is being challenged by this stuff, because unless you see something with your own eyes, at least then you can be sure, but even that can be manipulated. Unless
Yeah,
you're with the person in person, then you can be pretty sure that they're real. But I mean, contact lenses with whatever, and that also is going to go out the window in some years, I'm sure, because reality in front of you can be manipulated. But how do you bring up a child in this world where that is the case, where you don't even know what's going to happen in 3 years? Um, Video was not very good just a year ago, 2 years ago, but if you're seeing the latest AI videos, I'm being fooled all the time. I'm not even able to, like, just I don't know. So by default, I just think anything can be AI now. Yeah. So anyway, that's AI. But um, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in schools. So imagine being a kid that plays stuff on the iPad and watches stuff on the iPad. YouTube videos, 5 minute long videos, very engaging, and then done. Next thing, you don't like it, you scroll past, there you go. Video games, highly engaging video games. And then your teacher goes, "Hey, we're going to talk about the Second World War today." Is anyone excited about doing that?
I mean they'll not be able to even listen to that
Are
because
you
they, in
even on
their
the same
mind.
planet? They're not
Yeah,
even on the same planet. It's not even like, what are you talking to me about? I don't even care about that one bit. Now, the same thing could happen 20, 30 years ago with kids, but the intensity of it was much lower, because they saw a movie, they're excited about that, cartoons or whatever. No, but come back to this. You have to pay attention. Okay, good. All right, I'll do that. But today, you can't ask kids anything because all of their wishes and desires are being fulfilled all the time. If they don't get something at home, they just throw a tantrum, they start screaming, and then their kids go, "Hey, fine, there you go. There's your iPad. What do you want to eat, huh? Do you want pizza or do you want this? Tell me what you want to eat because I'm your personal chef. You tell me exactly what you want to eat, and I'll because I'm your servant, and I'll give you that. Not, this is what we're having. But I don't like broccoli. Yeah, but who cares about that? I'm the person in charge here. I'm your mother. I made broccoli today, and you're gonna have it. It's not like that anymore. It's like, no, I want that thing from that fast food place. I'm only going to eat that. Okay, I guess we'll get you that then because you're
I
not.
mean that's really bad. I think then they will not realize the importance of the food, like
Well,
that they are
it's not
getting.
just the food. It's they won't realize the importance of them not being the center of the universe.
Yeah, if they'll get everything what they ask for, then what will they when they
So
grow up? Why will they work?
that's
Yeah,
also the same thing is being experienced by teachers, because teachers can't get 2 seconds of attention from the kids. The teachers at this point, I've seen video of this on YouTube. Okay, so I'm not lying here. um, a teacher is trying to give a presentation, so she has her presentation split up in two. On the right side she has the presentation in PowerPoint. On the right side, sorry, on the left side she has that. On the right side she has a video game running, Subway Surfer, so that maybe because it's very engaging and people like that, the kids will look in the general direction of the screen and maybe pick up a couple of sentences also from the
Are
presentation.
you
This is
kidding
how
me?
this
Like
is how
that's how
desperate they are.
presentation are being made.
This
Like
is how
really?
desperate teachers are. And let me tell you something. Teachers that have been teaching for decades in the school system with no problem really are leaving the profession before retirement because like I cannot deal with this anymore because this is having such a bad effect on my mental health. The kids, when they don't get what they want, they get up and they throw chairs around because I need my, like, if you don't give a drug addict their drug, they're gonna get like this. It's the exact same result, exact same thing happening in the brain. And the kids and the teachers are completely exhausted and the schools aren't doing anything about this. So this problem is much bigger than any of us can imagine. And unfortunately, the teachers are on the receiving end of it. I mean, ultimately, it's the kids that are, you know, uh,
I mean, do you think is it bad parenting or is it like the trend nowadays?
part of it is bad parenting, but I understand the parents as well because just living in general has gotten harder. Whereas when I was a kid, you could have only the father working and the mom pretty much staying at home and taking care of the kids. It's very difficult today because price inflation, it's getting worse every day. If you want to have a nice place to live, you have car, maybe two cars, both parents have to work in most situations. And that makes it difficult because at the time when the kids come home and the parents come home, you're completely exhausted because you've had like 10 hours of just getting the kids to work, going to your job, and then coming home. You want to just take some time for yourself, but you don't get that. So, but you still need that. So you go iPad. There you go.
Do you
And then the
think COVID
kids are going
made
like,
it closer?
and then they get iPad and they go like this. They get like pacifier, just like this. So why wouldn't the parent do that? I mean, can you blame them? But that is also having an effect. And but ultimately it's the companies, the tech companies that have brought us here. There was no foresight. There was no let's think about this before we introduce this to a billion people, okay? And this is one of my pet peeves. This is what like to talk about. But I won't go on my long monologue about this because if you know me, you know how much I hate Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not just him, it's a bunch of other people. It's the whole culture. Just take you, Div. If you are building something, aren't you trying to build it in a way that the most amount of people will use it for the most amount of time?
yeah.
Why are you
Definitely.
doing that? Why are we building technology like that? Why aren't we saying in the technology, hey, you've used my app for 5 hours now, dude, go get a life. Don't, I'm going to block this for you now. So you're not even able to use it. You should do something better with your life.
I mean, like in Instagram as well, there is a feature where there is gentle reminders of restricting your usage. So I mean, why to
Yeah. How
hate
many people know
Mark
about that?
Zuckerberg?
How many people know about that? How easy do they make that
I
for
mean,
people?
like you can. It says that like you can use it still. You can use it for 15 minutes. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that
No,
happens.
none of this is actually doing anything significant for anyone.
But they can say that, right? Because
Of
they have
course,
to
and that's
answer these
exactly why
things.
they're doing it, so that they can say that we've introduced these things, and our internal research is showing that exactly what we wanted it to show, because our people are being paid to do this research, and that's what's always going to happen.
I mean,
So
same thing with the parental control feature that's present. Like we are talking about kids, so
yeah,
they can say that we have introduced parental control, and your kids might not use the app that way. But
but
I mean,
see, the thing
there are
is that
ways.
like I whenever people are talking about, oh, you can use a social media ad blocker, or you can block this thing so that you don't use it much. That's never going to solve the problem. You're going to be very proud of yourself of your lower screen time for 2 days, and then you're going to go back to exactly how your habit was before. Your life has to be designed so that you're not even going there in the first place. So let's take an example here. If you have a single man who's 29 years old, lives completely by himself, goes to work, comes home. Do you think there's a high likelihood that you will play 6 hours of his favorite game on PS5, or
No,
scroll on Instagram a lot, or
no.
do other things? Yeah, of course. Okay, so then he goes, I'm going to block it. I'm not going to do it. Okay, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. He's going to go right back at it because you haven't filled that time with something actually better. Now, let's change it a little bit. Suddenly he has a girlfriend. Do you think he's going to have the same amount of screen time now?
No.
No, because he's now thinking, oh my gosh, I got this person that I really like. How can I make her like me even more? I should take her out on a date. I should buy a present. So let me go on Amazon and see if I can. He's not even thinking about that as much as he did before. So all of that stuff is going to automatically go down. He's going to be like, I should go out more. I'm a little bit chubby. I should get more in shape. I'm going to go to the gym so she'll like me more. If he has kids, just multiply that by 10. So this is how you solve your social media, usage, is, and you do the same thing with kids. If the kids are living incredibly boring lives where they're at home all the time, and you're never taking them out to go roller blading or skateboarding or ski or whatever it is, to the cinema or something like that, or a museum, then all they can think about are the things that they consume on the screens. But you take them to a museum, art museum, and you show them whatever that they might be interested in. They go, okay, that's really cool. So that's how you solve this type of stuff more long term. You design the life that you want that doesn't include these things, and it automatically gets you there. So yeah, that is. We have, by the way, one comment on here by Karan. Hey there, Karan. Good to see you. You said no. I don't know what you were replying to there, but good to see you here. If you're watching this, and if you have any comments or questions, thoughts, whatever it is, for us, let us know. You can type it in the comments. And we got a good 20 minutes left, so we're gonna keep going. So what else
Now
is
let's
there?
talk about solutions.
Yeah.
Like these are the problems that we addressed. But
Mm,
what do you think parents should do nowadays in order to solve this issue and maybe improve their kids' life?
yeah. Um, okay. So solutions. We have to identify where the big bad things are coming from and try to block those. So you don't take the device away from the person completely. You give them a different advice. You give them a different device.
Yeah.
So here's what I would do. Instead of handing maybe the worst device made for kids ever, in my opinion, iPad, don't give them that. Don't do that. Give them a computer. Give them a desktop computer, maybe, that they can't bring with them anywhere. So they, in their brains, they go, that is my computer time. I go there, and then I come and I do other things. Okay? So it's location based. You also make it so that you just cut off the internet at certain times during the day. We're not going to be connected to the internet. Oh, then how are they going to do stuff? Well, if you want them to actually consume stuff, good things, download stuff for them before you cut off the internet. Download whatever cartoons, movies, or give them access to it so that they can see it on like Apple TV or something like that. No streaming, you know. Give them download all of Wikipedia and give them access to it. Limit the access to knowledge and make it more what you think is good for their future. So if all they have available at 6 p.m. is a computer not connected to the internet, but it has all of Wikipedia on it, and you've made it easy so that you can actually search for stuff. All of Wikipedia is not that much, right? What are they going to do? Oh, I guess I'll do that because I'm so bored. So, oh, no. Alan Turing. Oh, who was that person? And then you go, right? That's
I
what we
think
did when we were
giving
kids,
them
when we didn't have access.
giving them a Kindle virtual library
Yeah,
that works
that's
as
also
good.
something that they
Yeah.
can read that. Yeah, so just don't take it away entirely because they got to do something, but make it more make it possible for them to consume good content, which means that you make it, if you don't give them any internet, there are ways to block the internet entirely. And do it for yourself as well. Don't be on the internet yourself while they're not on the internet. Set a good example for everyone, right? And for yourself also, make it so that you go to a certain room or a certain location and you only have internet there for your work or whatever it is. You have to also stop doing these type of things. But then you are ensuring that if they don't have internet and they don't have a phone, so they can't connect to a cellular, tower, then they can't access the really bad stuff on the internet for sure, right? So these are the type of things that I would do, and this requires you to be a little bit kind of tech savvy, I guess. But yeah, this is the type of stuff that is really
I
effective.
mean, I think this is type of stuff. If you want some help, you can text Rafid, and he maybe help
Yeah,
you on
maybe we
that.
do a tutorial on it or something like that. Mm. But yeah. So and
That
if
is one of the solutions, right,
yeah,
of dealing with these
exactly.
things.
And
I mean,
if you're
sending
also
kids
yeah,
offline, that is another. Like, if you want them to learn a
mm,
specific instrument, music instrument, or let
yeah,
them play football, something like
exactly.
that. So you'll have
Yeah,
to invest in that.
yeah. Have a guitar in your home or a piano or something. Just have things available that are not the click on a thing and you get the dopamine right away. Which is really bad for your bad for the child's brain should be programmed that I need to do work to get something. Like we needed to do things back when we were kids. Like if you want to watch a movie, you go to a store and you get the movie, you pay a little bit of money, and then you come back and you have to
With a
explain why.
CD.
Yeah, and the parents see the movie that you want also, so it has to be appropriate as well. And now all of that has been replaced with a click, and you immediately see that. So if that is the reality in which you live, you make it more difficult for your kids. You also make it so all the movies that you have available here are going to be like 2 hour long movies where you have to like follow a narrative over time. It's not going to be a 3 minute video that's going to just, you know, give all of this stimulation to your brain for just a little bit and then you don't get
Also,
anything out of it.
Rafael, like looping in with this, a follow-up question is like,
Mm.
how will like 10-year old deal with body shaming if they are experiencing that in schools?
Oh,
Because they
oof.
are in bad shape, they are always on their phone and they are eating
Yeah.
burgers.
Yeah,
So they,
that's a reality as well. Um, yeah, that's a tough one. How to deal with body shaming when you're a kid in school, when kids have all these new ways of making fun of you. I'm not so sure if I have a good answer to that. Do you maybe have some thoughts on it?
I mean, it's all about making them active and
Mm,
making them do random things outside of your home. That's what I'll say. And
yeah.
if they're active and playing out different
Mm,
games offline, that's how they'll be. And you yourself should be fit as well. You
yeah.
shouldn't set a bad example of you being fat
Yeah.
and having a belly fat, and then expecting kid to be like, okay, it's all right. He's eating the sweets and it's
Mm,
good. You should be yourself fit. And if he's like just lying on the bed all the time, you should like bring a stick and then beat him up, go
yeah.
run. So like, I mean,
Yeah.
that are some of my ways that I'll potentially use
Mm,
when I'll have some kids, but that's a long story. But I think you should like let them be more physical and like let them play outside, and you
mm.
shouldn't restrict
Yeah.
them.
But
That's
the
one of the
problem
ways.
is that the kids don't want to play outside. We wanted to
But
play outside, but the kids don't want to play outside anymore because all the interesting things are at home,
I
and
mean,
none
get
of
a
the other
dog,
kids are playing
get a
outside.
pet. I would say get a pet, and then
Get a pet?
say
Yeah,
that,
that can help. That can help. Yeah.
yeah, say that you'll have to walk your dog outside, so
Mm,
they'll have to go outside. They'll
yeah.
have no choice.
I think uh, I think it can be good to involve the whole family. Again, we're dealing with parents that are very uh,
I mean, we are not.
exhausted,
We
maybe.
are, yeah, Indian families. It's like there are a lot of people in the home. You live with your parents and things like that. But I don't think so. Our
Yeah.
global audience will be doing that. So it's kind
Yeah.
of tough when you are just two parents, and sometimes there are just single moms.
Yeah.
So that gets even more difficult.
Mm.
So you can just share some insights. So maybe the so AI robots will take over, and then there
Yeah.
will be AI like take care, or like nannies, AI nannies in the
Yeah.
form of robots. So
Yeah, it's really tough. I think I would say again that you have to start with yourself. If you yourself, as the parent, are not going out that much or are not being very physical, try to start with yourself and then start involving the kids. Um,
what do you think teachers should do on this?
yeah, teachers have limited control, I think, because they have to follow whatever the school wants them
But
to
I
do.
think like most of the time people like
Mm,
kids are in school, right? Like half
yeah,
of the day their day is spent on school. So school
yeah,
is an of course
yeah,
important part of kids. So like
yeah.
there should be some things or protocols
Mm.
taken in
Yeah,
schools on
certainly.
this.
I think again, this is just like my thoughts. I don't know how realistic this is, but I think at any school, I think at least 1 to 2 hours should be dedicated. Like 1 hour at least should be dedicated to something physical for
I
kids every
mean,
day.
I think I saw something online, and China is doing exactly that.
Yeah.
Like they are letting the kids to play for I
Mm,
think first initial 2 periods of school, and then
mm,
they are letting them to study.
mm.
So like Chinese are really great in these things, because that's how most of the Olympic medals are getting. Like
Yeah.
Chinese are getting that because they are uh, instilling these values in kids when they
Mm,
are really small, and like opposite to these kids when they are in other countries,
yeah.
they are like getting. But of course China gives kids, I think, a lot of trauma, because if they even if they don't have to do this thing, they have to do this thing.
Yeah.
So like it's really hard for people to be focused,
Mm,
kids to be focused on what
yeah.
exactly they want to do. There should be some limitations, but not total limitations that they have to do it, otherwise it's not gonna work. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Um, mm. So yeah,
Like
is there,
you have taken in-person
yeah.
camps, right, Rafid?
Yeah.
What did you find with students? Like, what was the main issues
Mm,
like that is present in kids nowadays? If you can share your experience while running in-person camps.
yeah. The biggest issue I face when teaching kids that are 8 to 12, 13 years old is that it's very difficult to keep their attention. Very, very, very difficult. And that's why I've chosen to use Roblox, which is the most popular game in the world. And most kids in the world know about it or are on it and playing it actively 3 hour, 2 hours a day, three, four, five, sometimes even more. And within that world, you can create your own games, which is what I use as my teaching tool. And it's not ideal because there are problems with the platform itself, but that's where everyone is and that's where all the attention is. So I don't know really what else to do because I've tried other ways to get kids interested and they don't
I mean, do you
really.
think Instagram of kids is Roblox?
uh, yeah, I mean, like even bigger than that, even bigger than that. Yeah. Especially during the pandemic, it grew a lot because everyone was at home. And so um, but the biggest challenge is the attention, so it's hard to keep their attention. And the biggest thing that I'm able to achieve with kids in just maybe a couple of hours up to a couple of days is showing them how to sit down with something and keep at it even when they get frustrated and it's not working. Because they're not used to that. These kids are not used to sitting for more than 5 minutes and working on a math problem, really. But and I get that, but you put that math problem in the context of Roblox and suddenly they're much more motivated to actually do it because you disguise it as a different thing, but really what they're learning is something related to math, like XYZ coordinates in a three-dimensional plane is what they're really learning. But what they think they're doing is just making a trampoline. So this is how you teach them in a world that they feel is even more
I
real.
mean, learning can be fun in Roblox if you are able to visualize it and
Yeah,
like make it
but
interesting for them, because
but
then they
the
are seeing that.
yeah, but the biggest difference between kids now and when I was a kid is that we were willing to give the teacher or whoever was trying to teach us something much more opportunities
Or
to
authority.
not do it to do it in a boring way, but will by okay, I still get that you're trying to do this and I should learn it. But kids today will give you absolutely no rope. If they do not find it interesting and if it does not apply to their life directly, which is normally just about like how to become rich and famous by making, dancing videos on TikTok or making Roblox developer games, uh, then they're not really listening to you, you know. So so the only solution to that, I guess, is just like, okay, what do you care about? I care about these things. Okay, let's do that then, because you can learn a lot by setting up a camera and filming yourself dancing and setting a music video, like a music to it. You can actually let me teach you video editing from that, and hopefully 2 months later I can start introducing you to some movies that you should have seen, because they're classic movies, but you can't do that immediately. uh, Teachers would be able to do that immediately in one class before, but you can't do that now. You got to ease into it, you know, because they are just so brutal with not giving you anything unless they're like, entertain me now, or I'm all I can give you is 2 seconds, because that's the time it takes you to scroll past a video. Is 2 seconds. That's all you got. That doesn't magically change to 2 minutes when you're in the classroom setting. It stays the same. So yeah, it's been incredibly successful, the Roblox offering that I've been able to do now for about 5 6 months. Mm, yeah,
Awesome. I think
yeah.
we are
I think
about
we
to
should
end
wrap up.
this podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, like this time, there were a lot of
Mm,
insights from you on how to like actually
yeah.
make the kid like.
Mm,
I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how parents are dealing with the
yeah.
situations, and maybe if you are a parent watching this and if you wanna like get featured into our or send us some videos on what issue
Mm,
you're facing with your kids. That will be also great. You'll get featured in our
yeah.
next podcast. Your video will get played. Or if you don't want to like show your identity and you just want to like send us the videos of you telling about what exactly your kid is facing as an issue, then also do that.
Mm,
We'll definitely can provide you some solutions on that end. Otherwise, I think
yep.
that's pretty much
That's all
it.
for
Rafit, do you
today.
have
We
anything
already kind of
else?
started late, so we should wrap up now. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining, Dev, as always, and thank you for watching. If you are watching this live stream, and then we'll get to releasing the videos as well. Okay,
all
that's
right.
it for
See you.
today.
Thank you. Thank you so
All
much.
right, take care. Bye.